Greetings, Uncle Travelling Matt here, and it's the end of another day in India, and I am, as you can probably tell, in the holy city of Varanasi. This is a place that I've wanted to come to for a long time. It's somewhere that I'd heard about and I don't know, I'd imagined so much about, and I guess I always knew that my next trip to India would end up here somewhere. As you know, I like going to religious sites and holy places from a variety of traditions around the world. And this is, like, Hinduism is the most difficult religion to understand, in my opinion. It's not even a religion, it's like a collection of religions, collection of traditions. And so it's very hard to say where is the epicenter of Hinduism, but if there is anywhere, it's here. And I'm on the banks of the river Ganges, on one of the Ghats. So the Ghats are like bathing places. This is one of the most famous. Well, I'll tell you about how I got there now, because I'll go through my day. So, woke up this morning. Abhishek was meant to be coming to meet me at 8:30. So the idea was I'd be up and ready for 8:30. I wasn't, but then neither was he. And in the end, he never turned up. He sent a tuk-tuk instead. And so I went to his house and I met his mum, who's lovely, but doesn't speak much English, and his younger brother, who's a data scientist of some sort. And it was really an honour to go into an Indian house and you know, to be welcomed by a family. She cooked me a lovely mushroom dish, and their town is not Patna. It's about 10 mile away, and I forget the name, Dagapur, something like that. Anyway, I'll put it in the link. But what's an Indian house like? Well, I've only been to one, but it reminds me so much of the houses in Vietnam. Like, people have individual plots and they build their house, and I guess the richer they are, the taller the house gets. And in fact, the decor was just so much like it was in Vietnam. Even with the home altar, now they're Hindu, in Vietnam they were Buddhist, but it's the same thought, it's the same furniture, it's the same layout, and it's the same pride taken in the home. And the only difference is the security is not like, there's not all the bars everywhere that was in Vietnam. And what they love here is going on the roofs. And he's got a house, I think it's 4 stories high, but it's not fully, it's built, but it's not fully done up yet. And they're going to be having renters in 2 of the floors. So, and that will help, of course, pay for the house. Although he doesn't expect to live there because he's going to be going to the UK very soon, of course. So that was that, and it was a great little taste of domestic India. I guess maybe not typical. They are, I would imagine, one of the wealthier families, or at least perhaps one of that middle class that we hear so much about, but see so little of because there's so much poverty. And I guess it is Abhishek's class of people that will be the ones who will move India forward. And I hope that 7% growth every year, they share in a bit of that. Because, you know, India has such amazing potential if someone did something with it. So that's that. By the way, the town where they live, apparently, is famous for being where zero was invented, or at least thought of. And so, yeah. That's that. Didn't seem to be particularly remarkable in any other way, though there was a cool little Sufi shrine by the road that I wish I'd photographed. So that's that. Caught the train from this town. Weirdly, like, it's a small town on the edge of Patna, and yet there were trains that go all the way to Bangalore starting there. I don't know why they don't start in Patna 10 miles down the road. I really can't work out. But I got on this train. It was a sleeper train. There was 5 hours in the day, but it was quite nice because I had a little doze on it. Met a sports journalist and he knew straight away I was a cricket fan, probably the Lord's hat and the t-shirt. But I met him, and he'd been at the Test match, and he was a sports journalist in Hindi for a website. So we had a good chat about cricket, and I read a little. And what was great is at the end of the coach, the door was open, so I actually sat in the doorway and watched the countryside go past. I mean, it wasn't remarkable. It's the Ganges Plain, it's flat. Reminds me a lot of Punjab when I was there. You know, there's brickworks every so often, and, you know, like scrappy little villages, and, you know, kids on bikes and stuff. But it was nice. It was really pleasant, and low key but special. And as I say, dozed for a bit, read a bit of my book I'm reading at the moment called Hindu Holiday, which is an account of life in India in the 1930s. And then eventually rolled into Varanasi. So got a tuk-tuk to my pre-booked accommodation. It's quite pokey, but it does the job, and it was one of the cheapest I could find. So, you know, I can't complain too much there. And then I decided what I would do is I would walk down to the Ghats, the bathing Ghats where I am now, for sunset. And so I set off walking through the old town, and it's wonderful. It's just these incredible twisting alleyways, and there's these tiny Hindu temples and shrines, and it's this absolute warren with sights, sounds, smells. It's a magical place, and I expected it to be good. I didn't expect it to be this good, because the problem is I got completely, utterly lost. And I must have been wandering around for about an hour. And the thing is, that's quite rare, because people who know me know I have a very good innate sense of direction. And I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've got completely lost. But actually, Varanasi did it to me twice. I even put the phone on. I'm not meant to use the data on the phone because it's work, you see. And if they see India pop up, they might not be happy. But I got so lost, I had to put the data on the phone to find out when I was. And then even when I got my bearings, I still got lost again. But in the end, I made it to the Ghats, and I made it to the Gai Ghats, which is actually quite a bit out of town. So I've walked from there to where I am now. So I walked through a considerable chunk of the Ghats, and it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. But at the Gai Ghat, there was some kind of like fire ceremony going on. Now, it may have been for tourists, but there weren't that many tourists there. Well, if I didn't like see any Westerners, a few here. But it may have just been a thing they do. But it was quite nice. And again, what it is with Varanasi and with Hinduism is it gets to the primeval. You're going back to the dawn of man. More than any other religion, the fire and the smoke, and you're just going back to where man began religiously. And I find that so intoxicating. I find that so powerful. It's primeval. It's wonderful. And, you know, I loved Bodh Gaya yesterday. I mean, an incredible place. I want to go back someday. But it just feels far more modern than this. This is, I don't know if it's holy. It's primeval. That's the only word I can think of to describe it. And you just get assaulted by the senses. And over there is the Burning Ghats Hall, which is one of them. And literally, you know, you see dead bodies getting set alight. And it's, you know, there's nothing hidden here. There's cows lounging around, and goats, and stray dogs, and it's just, I don't know, it's blown my mind. It is one of the most incredible places on the planet. And I know that's so cheesy. I know it's like on the hippie trail and everything. Although I've seen surprisingly few hippies. I expect the place to be rammed with them. But although it is on the hippie trail, it maintains what it is. I don't know. It's interesting. Wow. So that's me in Varanasi. Single travelling man. Keep travelling.